Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday something. This is kind of like a cross between an inspirational interview and a Tuesday talk. I am coming to you live from my dining room table because we are snowed in Floyd, Virginia. And it's a wonderful day to contemplate next steps. And that's what I'm hoping to inspire for all of you, not just me, but my guests today, too. So, um, if you're not already familiar with this, I'm Hannah Levin from Heartfelt Wellbeing, and I practice Ayurveda and teach yoga. And I specialize in women's health. So today we're going to hear from a really fabulous member of our community, Molly Huss. And she has, you'll hear from her story, but she's experienced a lot of the different offerings that I have created. And we're going to specifically hear from her about the Vitality Circle because the doors are open for the Vitality Circle right now. And I wanted you to hear from somebody who's in the program and has experienced the benefits of it, so that you're not just hearing me go like, I have this cool program, check it out, listen to me. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Molly. Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
Yay. So will you just introduce yourself, a little bit about your life, give us a context?
Yes. My name's Molly. I live in Decatur, Georgia. I moved from New York almost 6 years ago. I've been a flight attendant for 26 years now. And, I have seen a lot and experienced a lot in my life and in my body. And I guess I was introduced to Hannah by a good friend of mine, as I had been experiencing for many years insomnia and a lot of digestive issues, constipation. I know a lot of inflammation in my body, and I'm just not generally feeling that good. And I was, you try different things and they don't work. And I don't know, Western medicine tends to make you sometimes kind of fear your body. And I wanted a way to find more trust and more faith. And anyway, so I met Hannah in person and we worked together, and I got a lot of information and learned about Ayurveda and the doshas and whatnot. And then I started signing up for programs that she had available. There were detoxes and One Habit to Thrive. And then she mentioned when she started the Vitality Circle, hey, Molly, I think this would be good for you. And I was like, oh, I don't know. It's a big commitment. I'm not sure. So then she had another program called Evolve, which as soon as she put it out, I went, oh, I will sign up for that because it seemed like just the right amount at the right time. And that was like, I guess I view that as more like my base of how I really got into learning about Ayurveda and everything that it meant and how it could help me and my body and change so much that now I feel really good. So I did that program, and I met a lot of wonderful people and learned a lot. And then I went to an in-person retreat that she had, and that was where I met the women that were at this retreat along with Hannah, and so many of them were in the Vitality Circle at that time, but I had, participated in things with them online. And the joy, like just the connection that they all had was just amazing. And I was like, wow, I want to be a part of that. And so I finally was like, okay, I think I'm ready to do this. And the hesitation that I felt with, the time commitment and the financial commitment, I just thought, well, I will figure this out with travel, and surprisingly, it it's really opened up a lot of space for me. And I've made it work. You make it really easy to, catch up with things if you're not around to catch, live calls and whatnot. And then the financial piece of it, I viewed it as you looked, as I saw Ayurveda as a lifelong, this is lifelong, like this is something I could sustain forever, that all the money that you put into quick fixes or going to the doctor or all the things that you try or don't work. And I thought, well, wouldn't I rather put my faith and money into myself to make myself feel the most vibrant ever than to a system that wasn't really designed to work on the cause of it. It was more of just a symptom, so.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Molly just kind of led us all through her trajectory. So I just want to reiterate or point out some things from what you just shared, because it's a lot of a timeline. So Molly came to work with me back when I was in private practice and seeing people in person individually. Yeah. So she learned the basics of Ayurveda and specifically what she needed at that time. I will say that Molly is a really interesting and cool person. I mean, you're an amazing person, and the fact that she is a flight attendant
Mm.
creates some just inherent ongoing challenges for her health because she's moving in the air. I mean, most of us know that we get dry and maybe constipated and our sleep gets off and all sorts of things when we travel. Molly's an international flight attendant. So she's changing time zones. She's going to Europe. She's coming back. Then she's right. And she was like, I don't feel good. Like, now she's 26 years into this, right? So I think you came to see me when you were around 19 or 20 years into being a flight attendant. And so there's some like inherent pieces of her work, right? And so the work is one thing. It was like, do you give up your job or work less or whatever, or do you figure out a way to support yourself so that the work doesn't have so many negative consequences on your health? So yeah, Molly came to work with me. I don't think when you first came to work with me, you knew that so much of what you were dealing with stemmed from your work. I think I don't know.
Yeah. I had just normalized so many things and just accepted it as, oh, well, I just don't feel good, or this is just how this is, or, with each passing year, it's like, oh, here's something else. And
Right. And it's like turning 40 or entering perimenopause.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
We can talk a lot of things up to like, oh, there's a good reason for it. Yeah. And we can also learn how to support ourselves at any step of the game. So Molly came to work with me privately when I started the Vitality Circle, which was 5.5 years ago. So I started Vitality Circle in summer of 2018. I said, Molly, would you like to do this? And she said, no. So then continued to follow what I was doing and participated in some free things. And I think you did a couple detoxes maybe before joining Evolve.
Yep.
So our detoxes are 3 weeks in the spring and the fall. And those are really great opportunities to do just a digestive reset and to learn more about seasonal alignment. So Molly did those. And then she joined Evolve, which is an online pre-recorded course. There's no one-on-ones. There's not really a whole lot of individual guidance. There's not individual guidance, but it's kind of an overview of Ayurveda for women's health. And we have a Facebook group, and you've been really active in that group and connecting with people there. And then coming to the in-person retreat 2 summers ago, you were like, okay, I really want to do Vitality Circle. And I was surprised because I was kind of like, oh, Molly's not going to ever actually do Vitality Circle. So you said meeting the women at the retreat just kind of solidified that for you. What was it in particular about that that was like, I want to be in Vitality Circle?
I guess it really was just watching how everyone interacted with each other, but also just the things we did at the retreat, um, the connection exercises and the singing and the journaling and yoga, and like understanding that these, women, we all shared different issues that we were dealing with, but knowing that we had a safe place to, talk about them, and, with you leading us with, and learning all this knowledge about Ayurveda and how it kind of opened it's how you've said it, like it's like a manual on how to live in your body and live in your life, and witnessing that really just brought about the desire that I wanted to do it. And I was tired of not feeling awesome, and just seeing how everybody, it just was really special, and it just cemented my desire that I wanted to be a part of it. And I knew that having more, like, I mean, because you offer so much with the Vitality Circle, the the initial consultation, and then the coaching gym, and the 1 hour session every season to go over your goals, and then having a mentor and an accountability partner, and the community calls, and the calls with you about the 10 habits, and like the fact that you go through them, and you do it for an entire year. It just gives you the perspective to see, oh, okay, I can, it, it's just really great.
Awesome.
And
Yeah. So you just mentioned several components of the Vitality Circle. So Vitality Circle is kind of like the heart of the work that I do. That's really how I think about it. It's like the most in-depth, most high touch option of working with me. So it is a year long. You have a month of Prep Academy even before you start that year. So it's actually 13 months.
Yeah.
And then we do group calls twice a week, one with me, one with a mentor for the whole group. And there's one-on-ones with me. I do a 2-hour intake for everybody when they first come in to really get a picture of where you are, what your goals are, what your habits are currently, and how I can help you over the course of the year. So I kind of put together a plan for you, each person. And then there's a half-hour call with me once a month individually, and a half-hour call with your mentor. And then we assign accountability partners. So you also have somebody else that you're going through the program with that you get to connect with. And so it's very high touch and very connective. And, that's not for everybody, but we do know from behavioral science that our habits are the habits of the 5 people that we interact with the most. Mm-hmm. And so we need to either connect with people that are doing the things we want to be doing, or are working towards doing the things that we want to be doing, so that they're supporting, kind of having the same conversations, right? So Molly got to experience that. And I think that's so much in a nutshell of what you just said about what you experienced at the retreat, is it's like this really high touch community of people that are all working towards these same habits and living in a really aligned way, and having that ongoing, those ongoing touch points is really, really powerful. Yeah. So will you share a little bit about specifically with your health, like what specifically was going on with you prior and what has shifted?
Well, I dealt insomnia, digestive issues, inflammation, and just generally not feeling really good in my body, or having things happen and wondering, why has that happened? Or, oh, that's, but really the insomnia and the digestive chronic constipation were 2 of the things that plagued me the most. And I had accepted it for so long. It's easy to normalize things like that. And in the year, well, now I'm in my 2nd year of Vitality Circle, but like the shifts that occurred, like, the insomnia, like, I don't I don't have trouble going to sleep. I stay asleep. And I mean, and if I do have issues, I have a whole toolbox of things that, I'm like, oh, okay. Or I have an understanding of why, if I haven't slept, I'm like, oh, okay. And so I know there's the things I need to do to, you know, change that. And but that's been mind blowing because sleeping well changes your whole life, changes your whole outlook on life. And then digestion, I don't think I realized how much of a problem it was uh, until it changed, and I don't have issues with that. I mean, I'm still working on it, but if, if I look at how I was a year and a couple months ago to now, I'm like, whoa. Um, I mean, I feel better. I look better. My body, I have faith and trust in it that it's doing all the things that it needs to be doing. And I enjoy, like, with the habits that I've learned, like, there's so many little things, just, waking up early is such a nourishing thing to do for yourself. And like, I don't know really how else to describe other than, like, well, when went to the doctor, I had talked about my sleep, and, we're like, wow, this is great that all this has happened. But the digestion has helped with, losing weight, lowered my blood sugar. There's just so many benefits to it. But healing those two things has just been really monumental for me. And knowing that I'm not going to suffer from those going forward, makes me really excited that I'm going to have a good, long, vibrant life,
Yes.
which is what
Yes.
what I want.
Yeah.
And the trickle down effects of it have been awesome too. I mean, it's changed not only myself, but, my relationship with my husband and my family, like, watching them go, oh, what are you doing? And like incorporating little things into that that's been really great too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Benefits everybody, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And those two general areas of sleep and digestion, I think are areas that so many people struggle. And we normalize it.
Mhm.
And we say, oh, that's just because of whatever. We can come up with lots of different reasons,
Yep.
because of aging, because of, our work, because of um, whatever it is, genetics.
Mhm.
I'm always like, oh, that's an interesting one. We actually know that genetics play a much smaller role than most of us have thought in the past. That yeah, I could do a whole nother talk on that. But anyway, these pieces, and I love that you said I didn't realize until things were better, how bad things were.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, I continue to have little moments, every day where you're like, "Oh, ooh, I feel better with this," or just noticing when you eat something, how you feel the next day, and how your digestion works with different foods, when you eat, how you eat, like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really empowering
Mhm.
once you get the hang of that. Like, you can make the best choices for yourself.
Mhm.
And that's really, really exciting.
Yeah.
So those two areas, I would say a lot of people, and if you're watching live, by the way, feel free to send some questions in the chat if you're interested in that. But those two areas are things that a lot of people just are experiencing a lot of unnecessary suffering. Like, the mission of my business is to alleviate unnecessary suffering, and I think a lot of us tend to suffer unnecessarily without even realizing it. So I like that you point that out. So if you're curious about how much
Mhm.
better you could feel without even being like there's some sort of specific issue that you're like, this is horrible, Ayurveda can really help us, because living in alignment with the seasons, with the day and the night cycles, with the solar energy in particular with our food, that all of that is really, really powerful. Molly Huss, you are radiant in the chat. It's
Well,
true. It's really
you can feel this way too if you join. It's
yeah.
really, really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that you said, what was it? You were talking about how, shoot, I've just lost it. What was it? It was about how I think it was that piece about how you don't know what you don't know.
Don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Until you
I mean,
try something.
I will speak to the simplicity of the habits when you look at them and start to live them is kind of mind-blowing, because you think, oh my gosh. I mean, I admit it's like you feel overwhelmed at first. You're like, oh my gosh, there's all this information. And then just the learning about habit stacking and tiny, mini steps, learning the word Kaizen, they all add up, and it's so manageable. Because I know I talked about that a little bit before, about how I was nervous about how I was going to fit this into my life. I mean, because I still, I work full time, and when you're on a trip, you're completely, away, although I have access to Wi-Fi, and it has allowed me to join in sometimes, if I am out of the country or, somewhere else. And there's just so much connection and access. The fact that, you can text Hannah and say, hey, I'm having a question about this, or this is, and having your mentor and an accountability partner. And I've made a lot of really, really good friends. And that's been really wonderful.
Yeah. And it's amazing connecting online, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, this is the online program. Like, how in depth are we going to be with each other? But really, really powerful relationships are formed, and then getting to see each other at live retreats is also really special. Like, we might know each other online, and then we get to see each other in real person, in real life, in person.
Yeah.
And it's really, really exciting because we already know each other well. And I did want to just say, like Molly was talking about how accessible and doable it is. This program is in depth, and some people have compared it to getting like a university degree at times, but it's also set up to be very accommodating for your life. So I've set it up so that all the calls that we have, the live Zoom calls, are recorded. And so if you're not able to be there live, you can watch them after the fact. And so you're not missing anything there, right? So we have an online hub where the teaching content is. Then there's 2 live calls a week, and those are recorded. And if you're not able to be there, it's okay. You come when you can. And, I really hone in on the quote from Teddy Roosevelt, do what you can where you are with what you have, because we all can make excuses as to why things can't happen now, or, we can't do everything, so we're not going to do anything. And those are not helpful. we can do what we can where we are with what we have. So that is really, really, really powerful. And another Vitality Circle member just wrote in and said, unbelievable how much I didn't know my body, and how the 10 habits have moved me into a much more easeful and joyful life. So glad I joined. Yeah, it's like we don't know until we experience it. And if you feel like you're like, there's something more, or I think I could feel better, or I would love to be part of a community. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. That's another thing that I hear a lot, is that women in the Vitality Circle are like, I've never experienced a community like this. Is that how you feel? Is that true?
Yeah. Like, you have your friends, and that, that you've either known your whole life or whatever. But being in this group, it's just because you're all kind of going along in this together. there's a, ooh, I don't know what the right word is. I keep using the word connection, but there's just like there's a beauty to it and a really nourishing and really just special aspect of it that, you lift each other up and, you share in your challenges and you get to it. I guess it expanded my view of how we're all connected and we're all going through things and we all might have a version of the same problem,
Mhm.
but seeing it through someone else's eyes or having someone tell you, oh, well, this is how I experienced it, and then you can say, well, this is how I experienced it, and then you learn so much more about yourself through being with these other, and
Yeah.
getting to know these other women, and it's very powerful.
Yeah. It really is a sisterhood, and
Hmm.
it's been amazing to like witness and be part of that evolution too, because um sometimes people say, well, don't the women get catty and like, competitive or whatever. I'm like, no, not at
No,
all. It's
no.
really quite the opposite. And I hear a lot, like, I've never been in such a non-judgmental group. I've
Mhm.
never experienced something that was um so kind and
Mhm.
supportive. And I think one of the things that we do focus on is that momentum of the group. So like you were saying, like if somebody else has experienced something and they're maybe in their third season and you're in your first season or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember when I was there and this is what helped me, or, it's like you can borrow each other's success too. And it's encouragement. Whereas if we're just going it alone, it's kind
Yeah.
of like, we don't know like where to stop or where to start or kind of what we might experience, or we tend to think we need to hide. One of our ground rules is reach in when you tweak out, when you're
Mhm.
having a hard time, like take a deep breath and reach into the group. And I know everybody who's ever done that
Mhm.
has found it to be incredibly beneficial
Yes.
and connective, and that type of vulnerability is held very, very preciously and supportively. And so, yeah, it is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're all about healing the sister wound.
Mhm.
That's true. Yeah, the sister wound is our kind of that modern day competition judgment that women have of each other, and that we're really not doing that. So Vitality Circle is limited to 28 women. And so it's not a huge group.
Mhm.
It's like everybody that's in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
circle. And so I keep it small so that we have that intimacy with each other. It's not like hundreds of people. Um, yeah. So we have we've talked a lot. Is there anything else you would like to say about
Um,
the experience you've had? So Molly signed up for a second year. She
yes.
completed her first year, and
Mhm.
and many people do that. Vitality Circle is marketed as a 1 year program, and some people are like, "Great, 1 year's good," and then other folks are like, "I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
around."
Yeah. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's allowed me to go deeper on my self-exploration and, my healing journey, as it were. And just, I just, it's just such a wonderful and sustainable way of living, really. And I just keep learning new things and, experiencing tiny joys and big joys and just all the stuff. I've I have so much gratitude for you, Hannah, and for creating this group. I mean, you are a great gatherer of people, women, and making the just bringing everyone together and, you know, allowing for such healing and beauty and love and just all good things, knowledge, wisdom, everything just in there.
Aw.
It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. I mean, that is my hope, and yeah, I'm glad you're getting to experience that. And yeah, I think a lot of people wish that they could find something like that in the world. And here it is. And so Vitality Circle is for you if you are healing from some dis-ease, some imbalance in your life that can be small or large. And it's also for you if you just want tools to learn to age gracefully and to be really vibrant, and to know how to support yourself, like to become a self-healer, which I think is more and more imperative in our world with our failing medical system. And our medical system is really set up for sick care, not health care. And in Vitality Circle, we embrace all of us, right? We're not just looking at the stomach or the knee or the eyeball, right? We're looking at how does everything work all together. And it's really special. And it's an investment that will continue to return on that investment for the rest of your life. So awesome. There's some sweet comments in the chat too. Truly the best choice you'll ever make. Oh, and about me, she is the container maker that holds all the goodness. Yep. The Vitality Circle is completely life-changing. Great to see you, Molly and Hannah. Great. Well, thank you so much, Molly, for coming on live today and sharing a bit about your experience and your story. And just to remind everybody who's watching or will watch in the future, doors for the Vitality Circle are open right now for the coming season through the end of the month. So January 31st, doors close, and we're bringing in the next cohort of women into the sisterhood that are ready to go on this journey. So we hope to see you there. I'll post the link to check out the Vitality Circle page on my website and schedule a call with me if you're interested in that. Any closing words once again?
If you're on the fence or you're thinking about it, just have a good chat with Hannah, and you will not be sorry. You're worth it. I'm worth it. We're all worth it. And it's really, it's a life-changing and wonderful experience to living really, really well. I feel good.
Yes. Cheers to being alive and vibrant in this world. Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Molly. Hope to talk with a bunch of you soon. And and if you sign up for a clarity call, it's not really a sales call. It's really, let's find clarity. Is this a good fit for you? And if not, what would support you right now? So I'm all about supporting people and cultivating the community. Yes. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.